Hello everyone, my name is Flora and my native language is German. That's why I'm going to present to you today the IPA demonstration for German. I am from Austria and I think, so my native language is German, and I think I'm the only native speaker of German in our group, so I decided to do this project alone. So now I'm going to present to you the illustration of the IPA for the German pronunciation. This presentation is mainly based on the article by Klaus Kohler on German published in the Journal of the International Phonetic Association in 1990. First of all, I will make a brief introduction of the German language. Then I will present both the consonant and also vowels that can be found in the German language. Furthermore, I will present some phonetic rules that exist in German. And finally, I will talk a little bit about stress and also syllable structure in German and present you with a transcription of the north wind and the sun. As I already mentioned before, I'm from Austria, so German is my native language, and German is also the official language of Germany, Switzerland, Belgium, Liechtenstein, and Luxembourg. And approximately 100 million people speak German natively, so German is one of the languages in Europe with the most native speakers. Of course, there are very many different varieties spoken in the different countries I just mentioned, but I will limit my presentation on Standard German. When it comes to the classification of German in language families, German is part of the Indo-European language family. Specifically, it's part of the West Germanic branch of the Indo-European language family. So let's start with the German consonant system. On the next slide, you can see the consonant chart. It's organized by a place of articulation. It starts with the lips on the left and the glottal on the right. And from top to bottom, it's organized into plosives, nasals, fricatives, approximants, and also lateral phonemes. I have prepared some German words to make the consonants of the IPA chart clearer. So I'll always say the sound and then present a German word or example for the sounds. Let's start with the bilabial plosives p and b. They can be heard in words like Pause and Butter, which translate to pause and butter. The bilabial nasal m is easy to recognize, for example, in Mann, which translates to men. The alveolar plosives t and d appear in words like Tag and Danke. The alveolar nasal can be heard in words like nein, which means no, and the alveolar fricative is present in the word Sonne, while its voiced counterpart z appears in sagen. The postalveolar fricative sh can be heard in the word Schule for school, and the postalveolar affricate ch occurs in the final phoneme of the word Deutsch, which translates to German. The velar plosives k and g appear in words like kann, which is can, and gehen, which is walk, and the velar nasal n is found in singen. The velar fricatives can be heard in words like Bach, and the palatal fricative occurs in ich, which translates to I. The glottal plosive, also called the glottal stop, often appears within words like beachten, bewundern. The glottal fricative can be heard clearly in the word haben. Among the liquids, the lateral l is pronounced in Lampe, and the trill or uvular r or r is pronounced in the word rot. The affricates pf and ts appear in words like Pferd, which is horse, or Zeit, which is time. And finally, the approximant y occurs in ja. There are no retroflex and also pharyngeal sounds in the German language. And I hope that I could clarify the chart you just saw on the slides with these German examples, and I could illustrate the sounds for you. I also want to highlight two special sounds in particular. The two special sounds are h and h. These sounds are allophones of the same phoneme. And for example, in Frauchen, which translates to the diminutive of wife or woman, the softer h follows a front vowel, while in Rauchen, the h follows a back vowel and is therefore pronounced as the other phoneme. Another phonetic phenomenon would be that German consonants can change depending on the environment they occur in. An example for this phenomenon would be the aspiration of certain sounds. Plosives like p, t, k are aspirated unless they follow a fricative or come before a syllabic nasal. A German example for that would be the word Paar, which translates to couple in English, and the counterexample for this phenomenon would be the word Skandal. Here the K comes before a syllabic nasal, and because of that surrounding, it's not aspirated. So Pa, sorry, and Skandal. The R sound is also especially flexible in German. It can be uvular like in French, or velar. The pronunciation here depends on the neighboring vowels. I have an example about this on the slides, the word schrill. And also the pronunciation of the R also depends on dialectal variations and also personal preference. Another special feature the German language has is that before any word that starts with a vowel, German-speaking people insert a small glottal stop. You can see this on the example I wrote on the slides, like Apfel. There's this small glottal stop before the pronunciation of the word. Now we will have a look at the German vowel system. You can see the charts on the slide, and I also prepared some German examples for the phonemes. Let's start with the closed front unrounded vowel heard in Liebe, while the short version I appears in Bitte. The closed mid-front unrounded vowel occurs in words like sehen, and its shorter counterpart in words like Bett, which translates to bed. The open mid-fronted unrounded vowel can be heard in some dialectal pronunciations, but Standard German mainly uses the open front unrounded vowel is pronounced in words like Mann, as I just explained for the consonant M, while the long version is pronounced in the word for year, which is Jahr. Now we come to the central vowels. The mid-central vowel appears in the second syllable of the word Bitte, and the open mid-central rounded vowel is found in the unstressed syllable of Vater. Now we come to the back vowels. The closed back rounded vowel occurs in Gut, while the short version is in Hund. So that's the difference between Gut, Hund. The closed mid back rounded vowel can be heard in words like Sohn and the shorter counterpart in offen. There's also diphthongs in the German language, as you see in the chart in the middle. The diphthong ein occurs in mein, and the diphthong au in house, and oi in neu. These examples cover the main vowels and diphthongs of the German standard, and I hope I could make the IPA charts a little clearer for you, and also made it possible to hear some German words in action, and also the German phonemes. Also, the German language features front-rounded vowels, which can be hard for English speakers to master. They sound like Ü, for example, in the word Hausübung, the Übung part, and Ö, for example, in the word Österreich, like Austria. On the following slides, you can see the key phonetic rules and allophony of the German language. First of all, there's final devoicing. This means that the phonemes in word final position are typically devoiced, so b becomes p when it occurs in word final position. An example for that would be the German word for boy, which is bub, bub. Another interesting feature of the German language is the R vocalization in word final position. The R, the R, becomes an A in word final position, for instance, the word wieder, which translates to the English word for again, is pronounced in the way wieder. As you could already see on the figure with the vowels, the German language has both monophthongs and also diphthongs, and the so-called Umlaute that I just explained. Another aspect of the German language worth mentioning is length contrasts. German distinguishes between short and long vowels. I just explained that a little earlier when we saw the vowel chart. And these length contrasts can even make differences in the meaning of words. As you can see in the following example, the word for to offer is bieten, and bitten is the word for to request, and can be distinguished by the contrast in length of the I. On the next slide, I want to introduce you to the stress and also syllable structure of German. Stress plays an important role in the German language, specifically for the correct pronunciation. And stress and syllable structure are labeled with stress markers. And on the slides, you can see the German compound word for chimney sweeper with the stress marks. The German word would be Schornsteinfeger. Schornsteinfeger. The primary stress is marked with a raised vertical line before the syllable and the secondary stress with a lower line. Compounds have a primary stress at the beginning of the first word and a secondary at the start of the second part of the compound. So Schornstein is the first part of the compound, and Feger is the second part, which translates to sweeper, and chimney is the Schornstein. Other examples would be Schultasche or Hundehalsband, and there are endless more. On the next slides, you can already read the transcription of the passage from the North Wind and Fire. I have also uploaded the recording where I read it out loud, and it's a good example of natural rhythm and also pronunciation. And if you like, you can listen to my recording or simply read a few lines of the IPA transcription you can see on the following slides, and you can hear the vowels and how the vowels and consonants interact in the connected speech. And this slide is the translation of the North Wind and Fire passage. And those are the sources. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up to me in class. And I hope you liked my presentation. Thank you for your attention.